over Los Angeles, over LAX? Give us a yes, give us a no. If you want to keep seeing this, it's every few minutes.
We got something flying in the way.
Oh, really? I didn't see it.
I'm not too sure what it was.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, someone's going to have to watch the replay and see what that was.
Something. Hold on. What was that?
It's going in the opposite direction.
We're going to have to see the replay
Flying
of that.
above.
Give us a yes, give us a no. If you want to keep seeing this, keep seeing this. What is flying above Los Angeles right now? Three odd-shaped, sphere-looking things, right? The F-35s, the KC-10s, they're here to enforce a presidential TFR. Is that it? Is that one of the UAPs that we've been talking about?
I'm kind of scared of looking at this.
Hold on a minute, guys. This is one of the UAPs that we've been looking at.
Chris Lehto. Welcome to Lehto Files. Welcome to the channel, guys. I'm Chris Lehto. I'm a retired F-16 pilot, now researching UAPs. And this was a video from 22 December. So it's an apparent UFO flying by a tanker. That's a actual tanker refueling F-35s who are defending Biden's Air Force One as it actually landed in LA. And so here, LA flights, this was a live stream, and they videoed what looked like a tic-tac object, one of these spheres that Dr. Kirkpatrick, the ex-Aero director, basically says is all around the world, these spheres, and we don't know what they are, but don't worry about it. It's probably nothing. The second story I'll cover in this video is Jack Stewart is a fighter pilot. He is a retired F-18 Navy pilot. He's written some books. And in a recent interview just from 2 days ago, he actually drops that he witnessed a tic-tac himself. His wingman actually picked it up. So we'll go through that story as well. So we have tic-tacs, or balloons, I guess, however you want to look at it, following Air Force One. But here we have actual visual confirmation from F-18 pilots seeing a tic-tac-like object, one of these spheroid type objects over the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, so the first really strange thing about this case is what happened to this article, right? So it seems like it's been wiped from the internet, from Google. Again, the Hill's covering it and it's on TikTok, but if you want to actually get an article on it, it doesn't exist anymore. Watch, I click on this. Okay, where is it? It's gone. The article's freaking gone. And if you search for it, you can't find it. I found this on X, right? This is from X. Look, USA Today, a post. This is from 23 December, so the day after the article supposedly happened, 22 December. And you see here, UFO or balloon unidentified object spotted over Air Force One may have a simple explanation, right? But you click on it, where does it go? The link is broken. I love this first comment too, because nothing says logical deduction quite like immediately assuming that a mysterious object in the sky is a spacecraft from another planet and not just a balloon or some other mundane explanation. So let me know if you guys can find the article on this. Pretty interesting, because it looks like it's been removed from USA Today. So here's the original video, right? F-35s refueling and UAPs near LAX, 430,000 views. That's a lot of views from 2 weeks ago. LA flights, 275,000 subscribers. And you can look here, most replayed actually, where the videos are. So let's check out this one here. Most replayed. This is actually Air Force One flying
above. Oh, look at this.
Formation, we got it.
Everyone, look at this. We have an F-35 flying in formation with the KC-10 flying directly above LAX.
Go.
Go, Josh, go. We have them, KC-135 and one. Is the other one getting fuel?
Yes. No. I'm not too sure. But look at that.
Okay. So the answer is yes. So the other one is getting fuel. Okay. So this is a KC-10 tanker. I've refueled off these many times. They're great to refuel off. They're easy, much easier. And what you have is one of the two ship of F-35s here on the left observation position. So this is where you wait to refuel. And then when this is open, right, when he's done refueling, he's going to move over here to the right wingtip. And then this guy's going to move into position, the pre-contact, and then he'll actually get refueled. They are defending the actual Air Force One. So Air Force One went to LA. Biden went to LA for some reason. I couldn't find the article. And wherever Air Force One is flying, it's always defended by fighters, right? Always defended by fighters. This is why George Bush down at Crawford Ranch, That's why he had F-16s always on call, right? That's why we know, or we suspect that they intercepted, or at least launched to intercept the UFO at Crawford Ranch. So here you have F-35s. Basically, the show is over. Air Force One, I believe, has landed. These guys are just probably refueling, and then they'll probably leave or go home or maintain cap over the area. So let's see what happens just a few short minutes later as they're videoing this. This is 1 minute later. Okay, so they're still videoing. The F-35s are refueling, and let's see what happens.
Fives are enforcing a presidential TFR over Los Angeles, over LAX. Give us a yes, give us a no. If you want to keep seeing this, it's every few minutes.
We got something flying in the way.
Oh, really? I didn't see it.
I'm not too sure what it was.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, someone's going to have to watch the replay and see what that was.
Something. Hold on. What was that?
It was going in the opposite direction.
I'm going to have to see the replay.
Flying
of that.
above.
Give us a yes, give us a no. If you want to keep seeing this, keep seeing this.
Okay, so let's try and stop it here as it goes in front of the plane. Okay, right there. So you see the object is closer than the plane. It looks quite a bit closer based on the definition of it. Could it possibly be a balloon? Anything in the air could actually be a balloon, right? You can make a balloon into any shape, essentially. So could it be a balloon? Yeah, we can't prove it's not a balloon by this, but it certainly looks suspicious. So you can see it there, but it's quite large. So this isn't just a little kid's balloon, right? Could it be a weather balloon in a perfectly spherical shape hanging out right there? Yeah, it's possible. Let's look at the next one. Okay, so they do see it 3 times now during this recording. Let's check this out.
Now, you're watching the best cameraman in the entire world. You're enjoying his work right now.
We saw something else
Did you see that?
fly above too.
Jeez Louise, Josh was spotting the UFOs, man. Are you ready?
That? Someone has to watch the replay on that one too.
Who's gonna see the replay?
Something shiny that was like, it was moving around weird. It could have been a bird.
Yeah. His work right now.
We saw something else.
Did you see that?
Josh was spotting the UFOs today.
What a shot.
That was the second time they saw it, right? And now let's check out the third time. All right, this is the third sighting.
Hill Beach.
That's insanely far.
There we go. Do we have anyone?
Oh,
Yes.
what is that?
Oh, that's it. Hold on
That's
a
one
minute.
of the things.
Is that it? Is that one of the UAPs that we've been talking about?
I'm kind of scared of looking at this.
Hold on a minute, guys. This is one of the UAPs that we've been looking at. Is this it, Josh?
You know, Peter, that doesn't look like. I'm not too sure what that is. Could it be a balloon? I'm thinking balloon.
Yeah?
Yep.
Or are you just saying that to keep the certain
No,
authorities
really.
away? What do you guys think?
Unless it like just zooms by or something. I'm thinking balloon.
Yeah? What do you guys think? Do we have anyone?
Oh,
Yes!
what is that?
Oh, that's it.
So the cameraman is confused. He doesn't know what he's looking at. And we'll find out here in a second. This guy has been recording for 15 years. These guys are basically professional tail spotters recording planes, and he hasn't seen anything like this. He's definitely confused. Okay, this story was also covered by Hello Ali and Justin on UAP Society YouTube. They have a weekly UAP news show, so that's where I got this information. So check that out, link in the description if you want to get more about AI, whales, etc. So like I said, they cover the story here, and this is Peter right here, the actually filmographer. Let's see what he says.
Listen.
But if we see a saucer or something and green little men walking around, that's it. We're not gonna put that on live stream.
We turn off the live stream
We're not gonna get in trouble or anything.
Oh, we're gonna record, and all the men in blacked out SUVs just heard that we're gonna be recording. By the way,
We're not gonna record. We're gonna close our eyes and not do anything. I'm sorry.
what is flying above Los Angeles right now? 3 odd-shaped sphere-looking things, right? KC-10s, F-35s. The president's here in the here at LAX. So much action, so much activity. And listen, the reason for the F-35s, it's to enforce a presidential TFR, okay? They're not looking for the spheres, all right? The F-35s, the KC-10s, they're here to enforce a presidential TFR, okay?
Okay, so that is Peter, right? He's actually, you can see there where he's filming. And now later on, This is actually found by, I believe, Hello Ali. Okay, Patrick with vetted. So this is from Peter. Let me zoom in here. So this is from Freaky Deaky 777. Unknown if it's true, but I'm assuming it is, right? Peter is my fiance. This is epic. He told me to search up LA flights UAP on YouTube to see how wide this footage is spreading, and it's truly insane how viral this is getting. Peter knows it wasn't a plane. He watches planes for a living. He knows it wasn't a balloon or drone either. Look at that. He knows it wasn't a balloon or drone either. We have watched the footage over and over again on his laptop. He could tell it. He could not at all identify it. He was lost. They said these things in the video was an initial reaction, but as what they saw actually hit them. And as they rewatched the footage, the boys both know that this was not anything they had seen before. Amazing stuff, right? This is not anything they've seen before. So I'm talking about, if it's true now, we're going to see more and more videos now that people are actually paying attention. We've seen some crazy stuff around here lately, and this was brand new. Peter could tell you any type of plane at any altitude in the sky. He's genuinely an aviation savant, a walking aviation encyclopedia. He's a legitimate genius in the subject, airplane Rain Man. It's insane to see if you know him personally. He really can't explain this one. This really is a UAP. And what's interesting to me as well is why is it wiped from the internet? You know, why did USA Today remove it? Why is there's no other articles? Basically, The Hill, only the decentralized media platforms are saying the story, right? There's nothing else that's literally been removed from USA Today. And I think it comes to what Peter was talking about there, is the F-35s there are there to protect Air Force One, and they're supposed to maintain a TFR. Okay, TFR is a temporary flight restriction. It's like a bubble that circles Air Force One. My guess is it's around 20 miles, is what I would guess, 10 to 20 miles. No planes or objects can come within that range. So, like Peter's suggesting, is these F-35s, they're supposed to maintain that TFR, and this object is inside that TFR. So I think the reason it was scrubbed from the internet is they don't want to have the questions is, why didn't the F-35s identify the object? You know, what are they doing? They're just flying away here. If they're supposed to maintain that TFR, then how come they didn't know that this object was inside of that TFR and if it was a factor? Now, the other point of that, the other side is, could it just be an object, you know, a balloon floating above? It could be, right? But like we just said, these guys have been tail spotting for 15 years, videoing, etc. And they were shocked. Right? They were very surprised, and they saw 3 of these things. So I guess you could have had multiple weather balloons released. The other interesting part as we watch this second UAP is this reminds me of Nigel Benton, right? Nigel Benton. If we go to the end here, they say something unique too. They say it's not a star, it's not a planet. And that's what I think these things actually look like. It's just a bright object in the sky. It looks like a star, like a supernova or something. But like we saw there, it is closer than the airplane. So this is not something out in space, definitely not something out in space. So it's something close. It's a reflecting light. It looks like one of those spherical objects that Dr. Kirkpatrick has been talking about. I wonder if we're going to be able to find anything else out about it, because like I said, been removed from the internet, apparently. Wonder why? Good question. But like I said, you won't be able to find any articles, at least from any of the mainstream. And USA Today now, you cannot find this article. Again, where did it go and why? I think that's the reason is, what was this object inside of the TFR and why did the F-35s, why could they not identify it? I think that's why they're keeping it quiet. Okay, now this is F-18 pilot Jack Stewart. He's an author and aviator. He brings over 20 years of real-world experience as a Navy FA-18 fighter pilot, adversary instructor pilot, and veteran of the special operations community. And he's written fast-paced military thrillers. This is his website. These are his books, I believe fiction. Grew up in Seattle, graduated from U.S. Naval Academy, flew combat missions from 3 different aircraft carriers, deployed to Afghanistan as a member in Air Force Tactical Air Control Party. So this is a TAC-P on the ground, is basically you're calling in the strikes. So that is a difficult job, very difficult. I have one friend actually ended up killing himself after being a TAC-P in Afghanistan. His last deployment was with the Joint Special Operations Counterterrorism Task Force in Africa. So this is, again, more warfare going on in Africa that I bet most Americans don't even know about. He is a graduate of the Navy Fighter Weapons School Top Gun and holds a Master of Science in Global Leadership from the University of San Diego. We all have that. Top Gun, yeah, is difficult, very difficult to get in. So he's at the top of the Navy. He's an airline pilot and has appeared as a military and commercial aviation expert in international cable news. He lives in Dallas, Texas with his wife and 3 children. Well, thanks to Jack Stewart for having the courage to actually speak out about something that he saw out there, right? Which seems Seems so simple. Right? Everyone should be able to speak out about what they saw, but anyway, it's difficult. And he's already published a few books before. I had published a few books as well. That makes it easier to actually go out and speak online and take all the spears that are inevitably going to come from saying anything online, especially anything that counteracts the mainstream narrative. So let's hear what Jack saw.
It was just a couple years before I retired. Was flying a day air-to-air training mission with my wingman over the Gulf of Mexico. So we took off out of New Orleans, and we were just doing 1v1 dogfighting, and good weather, daytime, and I'm pulling up. I'm looking up, probably 1 or 2 o'clock out of the canopy at my wingman, who's pointed back towards my 6 o'clock, and I see something go right by the canopy, right? And instinctively I duck, thinking it's a bird or something, but I realize I'm way too high for a bird. So then my logical brain says, okay, this is a glare off the canopy or something. So I'm gonna keep fighting. My wingman says, "Did you just see that?" I'm like, "I saw something." So he called it knock it off, and a knock it off means the fight's over. And he goes, "I'm gonna chase it." And I was like, "Okay." So he goes back. I turn around. We have our radars out. We have we have training missiles that are infrared scanning. Can't find it. We circled the whole area. Could not find anything. And so now I'm convinced like it's a weather balloon or something, right? We go back to base and we're debriefing it, and I'm trying to debunk it the whole time. And we get the models out, and we're okay. If we're like this and we're moving this fast, and some things, and he's like, "Dude, this thing went by your jet, turned and followed you." And I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, I didn't know that part.
So is that on radar?
No, that was just with his eyes.
Oh, okay.
So Jack doesn't give an exact time or time of the year. He says a few years before he retired. So I'm guessing 2017, 2018, maybe is when this happened. He's flying out of New Orleans, and it's a basic dogfighting mission. So you're just going out 1v1. So these are great missions. It's just two of you. You don't have to worry about the administration. You just go to a certain area, and now you're just practicing dogfighting. When we do 1v1 dogfighting, we're right next to each other, right? Flying right next to each other. And one person's going to be the defender and one person's going to be the offender. It's just like kind of like wrestling, if you think of it that way. And so in this case, he's looking up and high to his 6. So he's obviously the defender. I'm guessing it started out that way. So what will happen is they're going to check, and be about anywhere from 1.5 miles down to half a mile is their distance that they're going to start fighting. And now this person's going to be the defender. This is where Jack is. I'm guessing the defender. And so he starts his engagement, right? He tries to defend the initial shot. And as the offender now, you're trying to maneuver into the control zone of the defender and get to a stable kill position. Now you can make a stable gunshot and kill the enemy, right? That's the idea. This isn't, it is air-to-air fighting. So Jack is saying he's looking back over his shoulder up high. Okay, and this is going to be in a defensive position. So like you said, he's looking back over his shoulder. Why? Because as you're defending now, you're using energy. As you use energy, you're going to sink as you're trying to break and turn and move angles. So as he's looking over his shoulder here, looking up high now, he sees something glare flash past the canopy. Okay, and this is difficult, right? As you're looking over your head, you're sweating, you're moving around, you're under G's, your neck is craned as you're looking back now. And that's where he sees a glare. Okay, on the other side, the offender now, he's going to be looking down, essentially. Right? He's going to be looking down at an aircraft, normally stable, smooth, because you want to be stable as you're moving to try and shoot with the gun. And that's where he sees this object, right? And calls the actual knock it off. So calling a knock it off means something is wrong. There's definitely something wrong here. Anytime there's an issue, safety of flight, you hit your bingo fuel, or you see something not right, you're going to call a knock it off. And that's why he called it a knock it off. Jack relates that during the actual mission, he just thought it was a glare or something off the canopy. He didn't think anything of it. Maybe it's a weather balloon. But in the debrief now, his wingman says, no, this thing stopped and actually turned and was following your aircraft. Could that have been a balloon maybe through the air, through the jet wash of an aircraft? Could it have kind of moved a little bit? I mean, maybe, but actually following an aircraft, that just seems miraculous to me. Okay. He'll go on to say actually what it looked like. But the first initial instance of it was this thing moved, changed direction, and that's from the wingman, actually the wingman saying it. And they both saw it, right? So they both actually saw this object. So now let's listen to the actual shape of the object.
I didn't know that part.
So is that on radar?
No, that was just with his eyes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys have the equivalent of dash cams?
We do. We don't always turn them on. In fact, 9 times out of 10 in the reserves, we wouldn't turn them on because it's just one more thing for us to carry and forget. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were talking about it, and a guy in the squadron said, "Hey, you know, one of my buddies works for ONI, and they're trying to stand up this big thing at the Pentagon for trying to figure out what these things are. There's a whole form you fill out." We're like, "Really? Okay." So we go into the classified, we go to the skiff and get the form, fill out all the information, send it off, thinking like I'm never going to hear from this again. The next day, we got a call from a guy at the Pentagon that was like heading up this whole UAP program, and he's like, "I want to give your squadron a classified brief." And we're like, "Really?" My skipper came to me and said, "Dude, if I see little green men in this brief, I'm gonna be so excited." Yeah, I mean, it. Bottom line is they're trying to. They don't know what it is, and they're trying to demystify it so that people aren't embarrassed about reporting it, because you know, we're the military. We need to be reporting this stuff. We need to find out what it is.
Yeah. So there's no footage of this encounter, right?
No, I have no footage of it.
And from your wingman's recollection is that it flew past you, turned around, and followed you.
Yeah.
How did he see more of it than you did?
Yeah, he said he described it the same way I did, which is kind of like a white ball, maybe tic-tac-shaped, which fits with some of the other recollections. That's what I see, was a white kind of spherical shape go by. He said it was about 2/3 the size of my jet. I don't recall it being that big, so it could have been a perspective thing.
Yeah.
But I just, you know, caught just a very quick blur go by.
And none of it shows up on radar.
Yeah, and we circled the whole area, couldn't find anything.
Dude, that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
So I mean, what's your take on that? And do you know any other guys that you know well that have had strange encounters that have told you about them?
A handful of people. I've run into a handful of people who have, whether it be military flying or civilian flying, that have seen things, usually lights that they're behaving strangely. Um, you know, it's definitely, people are talking about it more. But it's something that interests me, and ironically, kind of the beginning of my book, I base on an incident that took place off of Southern California, where there were lights that were swirling a Navy destroyer off the coast, and the FBI got involved, and they're trying to figure out where these things came from, and were they commercial drones? You know, what were they? And so it got me thinking, like, what could it be? Personally, you know, could it be little green men? Sure, you know, but I like to think that it's probably some hostile country that's doing something that's intelligence gathering related. But then again, some of the ways they behave don't fit with physics. And
Well, yeah, that's the thing that
So he said a few interesting things there. The first one is the size of the object is around 2/3 of an F-18. F-18s are around 60 feet long. So you're about 40-foot long object, right? 40-foot long object. That would go right in line. That size projection goes right in line with what David Fravor says about the original Tic Tac. And here he says the shape is spherical, white spherical shaped, but the actual wingman, who had a better view on it, like I said, he's not looking over his shoulder, he's not under high G's, he's under lower G's, looking straight ahead, under controlled. He said it was the shape of a Tic Tac. So Tic Tac shaped, 40 feet long. That doesn't sound like a weather balloon. The other good point is, you remember back to the NASA hearing? I actually live streamed it. Maybe you remember this this exchange.
I remember one time I was flying in the warning areas off of Virginia Beach, military operating area there. And my Rio thought, the guy that sits in the back of the Tomcat, was convinced we flew by a UFO. So I didn't see it. We turned around. We went to go look at it. It turns out it was Bart Simpson, a balloon. You know, oftentimes in space, I would see things and I was like, oh, that's really not behaving like it should.
If you remember, that was astronaut Scott Kelly talking about his experience when he passed a UFO's Rio's backseater, thought it was an actual UFO. So they turned around, and what did it turn out to be? Was a Bart Simpson balloon. That's what they found it. So this cracks the whole case for UAPs, right? This cracks the whole case.
trying to figure out blur go by.
And none of it shows up on radar.
Yeah, and we circled the whole area.
So you can turn around and find these things, right? Scott Kelly proved, he said very succinctly that you can turn around and actually find the objects because you have fighter planes and we're the fastest thing in the air, right? And it turns out we can turn around, right? We can actually turn our aircraft around and go and look at what we just saw, right? And so Jack is saying him and his wingman using their sensors, their eyeballs, where they just saw it, right? I'm going to go chase it. He literally just saw this object and now it is gone, right? It disappears. So the question is, where was the Bart Simpson balloon? In that case, if this is a weather balloon, then how come these guys couldn't find it? You know, as they turn around to try and track this thing down, they spin around. Like he said, he was perplexed. Where did it go? Now, they don't have targeting pods, but is that really going to help you so much in a search? He said they did IR search with their 9Xs. So with their missiles, you can actually put your missiles out and actually kind of search for any objects out there for targets. They will auto lock, and now you can see if that's an actual object. So in this case, it just disappeared. So guys, don't forget to check out the UAP Society news show. Really excellent stuff in there. This is one of the stories. Space Force says documents on fast walkers and slow walkers all exempt from disclosure. That was from John Greenwald. Exempt from disclosure, says the Space Force. Why is anything really exempt from disclosure? Why do we have to keep putting up with all this BS, lying, cheating, and stealing is what we allow from our government. And the UAP Society is actually a Web3 decentralized platform, meaning we sell NFTs. These are Ethereum-based NFTs, the same as CryptoPunks. I actually have a CryptoPunk. I've had it for several years. I am a believer in the technology. I think blockchain is definitely here to stay, and you will see that in the coming years. So I started UAP Society, based it on decentralized science, and this is it, guys. So these are the NFTs, crypto UAPs. You can check these out. If you own a crypto UAPs or an Alien Dreams Genesis, so one of our society's NFTs, then you get early access and ad-free to all of the Lehto Files videos, as well as access to the holders chat on the Discord, and you get to vote in our contests. And big congrats to Sky360 and Ryan Wood. They both won. Sky360 won first place, and Ryan Wood won second place in our video idea contest. But we had amazing ideas, amazing videos, and I'm still going to get value out of those. Hopefully do a summary video in the future. But this was voted on by NFT holders. So if you want to join UAP Society Web3 Decentralized, get an NFT. You only have to buy it once, and then you are forever a member of the society, and you will have access, like I said, to the holders chat here. The holders chat, I release early ad-free access to all of the Lehto Files videos. So thank you for considering that. Thank you for listening to all my crazy ideas about the future. But I am extremely optimistic for the future, extremely optimistic for 2024. I never thought I would actually say that, but for the future of the planet, for our children. I really want to leave the world. I think the rest of us also want to leave the world in a better place for our children and future generations. And I think getting to the secret, the heart of the UAP enigma, understanding what is going on, understanding that we don't know so much about the universe. Okay, we literally don't know nearly as much as we think about the universe, especially the outer universe, the cosmos. There's so much we don't know about consciousness. There's still no way to point to consciousness in our physical models, in our physics models. There's no way to even put it into the equations, right? So we're definitely missing huge, huge gaps of knowledge in actually how the universe works. And I think the UAP enigma is the way to get to the root of the problem and try and make a better future for you, me, our families, and future generations. So thanks again for being here. If you want to support the channel, like I mentioned, you can already purchase NFTs, UAP Society, or get exclusive videos at patreon.com/Chris Lehto, or be a YouTube member here on YouTube. Thanks again for all your support. Have a great day. Peace.